entire team for their relentless efforts in implementing policies and aiming to stabilize our economy. You have faced the daunting task of steering the nation's monetary policy amidst a challenging economic landscape. Mr. Governor, under your one-year stewardship, the CBN has implemented a series of groundbreaking measures aimed at enhancing market transparency, improving financial stability, fostering a more secure investment environment, and shifting towards a market-driven exchange rate regime to restore confidence and stabilize the economy. However, while your intentions have been very clear, the reality we face continues to paint a bleak picture. Nigeria's economic situation continues to deteriorate, and I believe we are all collectively responsible for this, and we must do something collectively. As key regulators, your institution, the CBN, bears a significant part of that responsibility, as I stated. We are all aware of the challenges, so I will not reiterate them for too long, but I feel compelled to emphasize a few key points. Recently, the monetary policy rate was rated a record high 27.25%. Yet inflation has stubbornly remained at an alarming rate of 27%, one of the highest in nearly 2 decades. The cost of borrowing has skyrocketed, making credit inaccessible for most Nigerians and businesses, further stifling economic growth. There appears to be no balance between monetary tightening and growth stimulation. On exchange rates, I must commend the CBN on the unification of the foreign exchange market, enhancing liquidity and reducing market distortions, clearing a $7 billion backlog of valid forex, reducing forex volatility, and increasing our external reserves significantly. I sincerely commend you for all of this, Mr. Governor, and your team, and this is on the record. Commendations. Yet, the unpalatable reality, the Naira has depreciated to around 1,500 Naira to the US dollar. For a country that relies on imports, this exchange rate crisis is not just an inconvenience, it is devastating. Nigerians are yet to see any real improvement in their day-to-day lives. Again, I feel we are all responsible. Unemployment, which increased by 5.3% in the first quarter of 2024, continues to climb as businesses are forced to cut jobs, largely due to harsh monetary environment and an unstable exchange regime. The policies intended to curb inflation and stabilize the Naira seem to be having the opposite effect on the wider economy. Additionally, Nigeria recently secured another loan worth $6.5 billion from the World Bank, thereby making Nigeria's debt profile to exceed 129 trillion Naira. This is particularly troubling. We are borrowing more even as our currency weakens and inflation surges. This is clearly creating a vicious cycle of borrowing and inflation, which I believe and I know and I hope the CBN will arrest immediately. Mr. Governor, we know you are working tirelessly to fulfill the CBN mandate. However, we must acknowledge the stark reality of the current situation. When you assumed office in September 2023, a loaf of bread was around 500 Naira. A mudu of gari cost 300 Naira. A 50 kg bag of rice was around 36,000 Naira. And a mudu of sugar around 700 Naira. Today, 1 year later, those prices have more than tripled. A loaf of bread is now 1,800 Naira. A mudu of gari stands at 1,200 Naira. 50 kg bag of rice exceeds 100,000 Naira. On this we all know, Mr. Governor, every member is into sharing rice now. And a mudu of sugar is 3,000 Naira. Mr. Governor, will we be able to buy a bag of rice for less than 500,000 Naira in the next 6 months? I know these questions are difficult to answer, but we'd like to have an idea, please. Our constituents need immediate relief. In my constituency, what the good people of Kaduna North, and indeed all Nigerians want to know is there light at the end of this very dark tunnel? Lastly, I also want to mention His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, last week transmitted 4 economic stabilization bills to the National Assembly. I believe that the CBN had some input or was consulted in drafting these bills. We will hope you can shed some light on how these bills are expected to provide relief to everyday Nigerians, the tomato seller, the taxi driver, and the team and unemployed youth and countless others who are struggling daily. I urge us all to engage constructively as we seek solutions that will enhance our monetary policy framework and ultimately support sustainable growth in Nigeria. Thank you very much, everyone. Mr. Governor, that was so. That the CBN under your leadership has always forwarded the reports of the Monetary Policy Committee to myself in a humble manner. I've tried to share it with the committee group. There are challenges, and you've always said that, Mr. Governor. This committee, as I've always said, is an ally to you. If there are ways we could pass legislation to ensure the job is easier on the fiscal and the monetary, please let us know now and be honest as possible as you can with us. I hope we are the same with you in a constructive manner. I would like to urge my colleagues that while there's a lot of tension and economic crisis, we all have the same target, which is to have a better Nigeria. So there's no need for playing to the gallery or trying to raise any attention. As the chairman of this humble committee, I do not subscribe to that approach, and I believe partnership will save us more. I am liable to more information than most committee members. If I've wronged you by not sharing some, I apologize. The clerk will take note to forward some of these documents to you as always. We're here for solutions, and I hope we all get it. Thank you very much, sir. And the floor is yours, Mr. Governor. Thank you.
Can you just mention some of those things which are not within your control, essentially within the physical realm, which is militating, which you can tell us is militating against your efforts? So that if we need to amend some of our laws, we amend some of our laws. If we need to make new ones for you to operate better, we make those new ones. So what are those physical things that you think are making your job difficult, or Nigerians are not getting the immediate results they expect from the plethora of policies you have already set in place? That's my question for now.
Our naira is falling day by day. This issue of foreign reserve, forex, what have you, I told you initially that they won't understand it. But in a simple term, why is it that our naira is falling day by day? And why is it that if maybe yesterday I bought a rice of 50,000, when I go to market or go to market tomorrow, the price will increase, Mr. Governor. These are issues that shoulder under your responsibility. And these are the questions that I told you we come across as a Nigerians that represent our constituent on daily basis. What you guys are doing, because the Nigerians are every day losing hope on the system. Mr. Governor, it's our responsibility to try our best to fix. Like I said in the first place, we know the CBN is trying to fix the problems. But your trying is not enough, Mr. Governor. Please, you need to add more. Please, you need to add more. And also find a short-term definition of why this dollar is increasing day by day. Why the price is cyclical, everything is increasing day by day. Thank you very much.
We don't have an industrial base. We are net importers of produced goods. What is the essence of this massive devaluation of our currency? As far as I am concerned, devaluation has not achieved anything. Instead, we are importing inflation into our economy. Secondly, on inflation still, inflation in Nigeria is driven by, apart from other factors, two fundamental ones: the price of diesel and the price of PMS. Recently, were told that now crude will be sold. While price of crude is coming down internationally, in our case, price of refined products is going up. And this is because even though we said we are selling the crude in Naira, we are still following the price index of Platts, the price index, which price are really analyzed in dollars. So my question is, how do we bring down the price of, now that crude is sold in Naira, when are we going to see a decrease in the price of PMS and diesel? Thank you.
Record that and extend my sincere gratitude and sincere thanks to the leadership of this committee and the committee members for the one, privilege of me being here today, and two, for the cooperation that has been extended to the central bank over the last 1 year. It has been a challenging period, and I really do thank the committee for understanding the situation that we're in and also encouraging us in our efforts. Honorable members, before I delve into the state of our economy, permit me to briefly outline the mandate of the CBN as stipulated in the CBN Act of 2007. As you are aware, our primary responsibility is managing the nation's monetary and financial sector policies, while our core objectives encompass the pursuit of monetary and price stability, issuing legal tender currency, maintaining external reserves, promoting a sound and robust financial system, and acting as banker and financial advisor to the federal government. Since my assumption of office a year ago, our focus has been on how to stabilize the economy, restore investor confidence in financial markets, and provide a seamless path to sustainable growth. Our areas of focus include addressing inflationary pressure, stabilizing the exchange rate, enhancing financial system supervision, fostering financial inclusion, and enhancing transparency in our monetary policy decisions and communications. And if you will permit me to say at this juncture, and I'm happy that the chairman did mention that we send a copy of the communique at every stage. I also want to say that as a matter of course, we use the opportunity of the MPCs to open up question and answer session and educate the public as much as we can. And that is a policy which I want to assure you we will continue to do and in fact strengthen. To ensure effective takeoff, we promptly established the Monetary Policy Committee and conducted an orientation retreat for the MPC members. We then swiftly commenced the process of addressing the key challenges facing the economy, notably exchange rate instability and high inflation, by enacting policies and reforms aimed at achieving economic stability and growth. While we have recorded substantial progress so far, it is important to acknowledge that considerable challenges still lie ahead. Going forward, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to achieving our goals and serving the Nigerian people through effective monetary policy and financial sector management. Macroeconomic performance in 2024. Honorable members, as we review our economic performance for 2024, it is crucial to assess developments in both the global and domestic macroeconomic environment. This is due to the interconnected nature of the world economy, which implies that global developments inevitably influence outcomes in our domestic economy. The global economy in 2024 has so far demonstrated considerable resilience and numerous headwinds. Projections indicate a growth rate of 3.2% and 3.3% for 2024 and 2025 respectively. Although positive, these estimates remain below historical averages, suggesting moderate rather than robust expansion. Advanced economies are expected to grow by 1.7% this year, while emerging markets and developing economies, including Nigeria, are projected to maintain a robust growth of 4.3% growth rate. However, we must remain vigilant as the ongoing geopolitical tension, such as the Russia-Ukraine war and the Middle East crisis, lingering supply chain disruptions, and inflationary pressures continue to pose significant risks. In the crude oil market, we have observed a decline in prices during the third quarter of 2024, primarily driven by increased supply and revised global demand projections. Turning to domestic developments, I am pleased to report that our economy has demonstrated remarkable resilience. In the second quarter of 2024, the economy grew by 3.19%, up from 2.51% in the corresponding period of last year, driven largely by non-oil sector. The services sector continues to be the primary economic driver, contributing 58.76% of GDP, with a robust growth rate of 3.79%. Similarly, the industrial sector has shown remarkable improvement, with its growth rate surging to 3.53% from 0.31%. The contribution of agriculture to total GDP also increased. In addition, the growth rate of the sector rose to 1.41% from a negative territory of 0.90%, indicating that a substantial turnaround in productivity. Importantly, the non-oil sector maintains strong performance, contributing 94.3% to GDP, with a steady 2.8% growth rate. The oil sector's growth rate has almost doubled to 10.15% in second quarter 2024 from 5.70% in first quarter 2024, due mainly to improved security and surveillance, which resulted in increased production of crude oil and natural gas. On the fiscal front, the deficit to GDP ratio stood at 4.1% for the first half of 2024, while consolidated public debt was 51.2% at end of March 2024. Although total debt stock exceeds the self-imposed 40% national threshold, it remains well within the international benchmark, indicating that our debt levels remain within manageable limits, although requiring attention. Inflation trended upward, driven largely by high food prices, costs of energy, and legacy infrastructural challenges, but it commenced deceleration from 34.19% in June 2024 to 33.4% in July 2024. The moderation in inflation became more pronounced in August 2024 as headline inflation further eased to 32.15%. This was largely attributed to monetary policy measures taken by the bank. With aggressive monetary policy tightening, coupled with robust monetary fiscal policy coordination, inflation is expected to further trend downward in the near to medium term. At this stage, permit me, honorable members, to say a few words on that coordination, because it is a topic that comes up all the time. Now, firstly, please, I would just like to remind the honorable members that we do have on the board of the central bank very senior level representation from the Ministry of Finance. In particular, we have the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, and we have the Accountant General sitting on the board. In addition, at the MPC level, we also have the Permanent Secretary as a member of the MPC. In addition to that, we have set up a number of other committees which guides that handshake across the groups. And also, only as recently as last week, I had a meeting with the Honorable Minister of Finance, the Honorable Minister of Budget and Planning, and also the DG of Budget, and also the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank. 5 of us had a meeting where we extensively reviewed all the issues affecting our economy and proffered solutions for the way forward. So I just want to assure you that we are doing what is necessary to ensure that coordination between the two continues to get strengthened. In the foreign exchange market, we have adopted key policy measures leading to improved efficiency in the market. In particular, diaspora remittances through international money transfer operators, IMTOs, have risen considerably by 36.61% to $552.94 million in July 2024, from US dollars 404.75 million in May 2024. We have embarked upon various initiatives to improve the remittance ecosystem. Some of these initiatives include the following: expansion of IMTOs. We have granted approval in principle to a great number of IMTOs. We have strengthened compliance to improve transparency in the sector, and we are also finalizing the modalities for non-resident accounts. The central bank has also automated the reporting process for IMTOs. Now, I must say, honorable members, that a committee was set up to drive the process, and I took it upon myself to chair that committee. In fact, it is one of 2 ad hoc committees in the central bank that I chair. And the reason for doing that is, I'm sure, very obvious, which is that we saw the need to bolster the supply of foreign exchange, not strictly speaking within our remit, but we could see that this was an area that if we did not, take the bull by the horns, we would end up having problems where in view of shortages in other areas. So that is an ongoing effort, and as you can see, it has resulted in significant results, and we expect, we are very positive that between now and the end of the year, that process will continue. In actual fact, when I made reference to the fact that a committee was being set up and I would chair this, which was early in the year, I committed to doubling the remittance flow between that time and a year down the line. And that commitment remains. Honorable members, these initiatives are part of our broader efforts to enhance remittance inflows and strengthen the Nigerian economy. As a result, remittance inflows, which averaged 285 million per month in 2023, improved significantly, as I have explained earlier. And this also, I would like to say, is a testament to the fact that these things can be done, you see. And I must say that in these challenging times, it is up to us as Nigerians to roll up our sleeves and do what we have to do to fix our economy. We always talk about the issues of non-oil exports. This is an example of the remittances coming through from a sector that hitherto had suboptimized. So I believe that the opportunities are immense, and I just want to say that we are doing everything possible to ensure that we encourage those who can step in to do so. Thus, remittances have contributed to improving the country's balance of payments, resolving debt issues, and fostering exchange rate stability. These inflows are expected to significantly improve by the end of the year, given the positive trajectory which I had mentioned earlier. In addition, the spread between the Nigeria Foreign Exchange Market (NIFEM) and Bureau de Change (BDC) rates has narrowed significantly from 317.91 naira in January 2024 to 93.47 in September 2024, reflecting fundamental price discovery, enhanced market efficiency, and reduced arbitrage opportunities. External reserves. The foreign exchange reserves have grown significantly, with remittance flows currently representing 9.4% of total external reserves. The reserves rose by 12.74% to 39.12 billion as of October 11, 2024, from 34.70 billion at end of June 2024, driven largely by foreign capital inflows, receipts from crude oil-related taxes, and third party. In quarter 2 2024, we maintained a current account surplus and saw remarkable improvements in our trade balance. The current external reserve position can finance over 12 months of import goods and services, or 15 months of goods only. This is substantially higher than the prescribed international benchmark of 3 months, reflecting a robust buffer against external shocks. The banking industry comprised 26 commercial banks, 4 merchant banks, and 4 non-interest banks, and has remained safe, sound, and resilient. Key indicators such as capital adequacy and liquidity ratios, total assets, and total credits showed impressive improvements, underscoring the sector's contribution to economic growth. In the third quarter of 2024, the capital adequacy ratio remains robust at 12.8%, while the industry liquidity ratio rose to 52.9% by end of August, well above the prudential minimum requirement. The non-performing loan ratio stood at 4.2%, well below the 5% regulatory benchmark. These indicators reflect increased liquidity and solvency. While we're encouraged by these positive trends, the bank remains vigilant and committed to implementing policies that ensure monetary and price stability towards supporting sustainable economic growth. Recent policy measures and strategies to address domestic macroeconomic challenges. Mr. Chairman and honorable members, allow me to outline the key policy initiatives and strategic measures recently implemented by the bank to tackle the economic challenges we have highlighted. To combat inflation, we have fully reverted to orthodox monetary policy approach and implemented a comprehensive set of monetary policy measures. These include raising the policy rate by 850 basis points to 27.25%, increasing cash reserve ratio, and normalizing open market operations as our primary liquidity management tool. In addition, we have adopted an inflation targeting monetary policy framework as part of the bank's enterprise strategy 2024 to 2028. The IT framework, widely adopted across various global economies, is renowned for its effectiveness in combating persistent inflation. These integrated measures are aimed at stabilizing process, optimizing liquidity management, and engendering an effective monetary policy framework. And let me emphasize, honorable members, that this is work in progress. The adoption of IT is work in progress. And of course, it should hopefully be another example of collaboration between the fiscal and the monetary side. Regarding the foreign exchange market, the bank implemented various reforms, including a unification strategy which streamlined various exchange rate windows into a single model, adopting the willing buyer, willing seller approach to enhance FX liquidity and financial market stability. This move was aimed at fostering transparency, reducing market distortions, and enhancing the efficiency of foreign exchange transactions, allocations. The consolidation involved the implementation of new operational guidelines, which included removing the IMTA quote cap. Additionally, the bank resumed the sale of FX at NAFEM and Bureau segments bolstered by an improved supply from foreign portfolio investors. Again, let me stress on the attraction from FPIs, foreign portfolio investors. Of course, as the honorable members know, smart money goes to where the environment is enabling. And we have had the challenge in ensuring that our particular market functions efficiently and as transparently as possible. And it is for that reason that we have been able to attract the FPIs to our market. On banking supervision, the CBN has taken decisive actions to ensure the safety, soundness, and resilience of the banking industry. One of the key measures include the recapitalization of the banking sector by raising the minimum capital base to support the $1 trillion economy envisioned by the federal government of Nigeria by 2030. Banks are required to meet these new thresholds by March 31st, 2026, with several options available for reaching these targets. These options include issuing of new equities, engaging in mergers and acquisitions, or adjusting their operational licenses. Just by way of update, I would say that the response so far to the recapitalization has been positive, and I believe the banks are well on their way there. The bank also revoked the license of Heritage Bank, facilitated the successful merger of Unity Bank and Providence Bank, which is in progress, and revised cybersecurity rules for banks and PSBs. In addition to that was the suspension of processing fees on cash deposits and enhanced AML CFT supervision, amongst others. Now, on AML CFT, honorable members will know that we are on the grey list as a country, but we are doing everything possible through constant ongoing reform and constant supervision that we get off the grey list as quickly as possible. On monetary and fiscal policy coordination, which I spoke about earlier, we have continued to strengthen collaboration during the period under review. Overall, our policy measures reflect a holistic approach to addressing various challenges in the economy. While some measures have immediate effects, others are designed to bring about long-term structural changes. Our ultimate goal is to create a more stable, resilient, and efficient monetary and financial system that can better serve the Nigerian economy while adhering to global best practices. Outcomes of policy measures implemented by the bank. Honorable members, I am delighted to inform you that the bank's numerous policy initiatives are yielding significant results across various sectors of the economy. In the foreign exchange market, we have achieved increased transparency and improved overall supply. Again, to re-emphasize, it is the transparency of markets that attracts inflows into the environment. If those who are investing do not see the needed transparency, they hold on until that becomes available. By allowing the foreign exchange rate to be determined by market demand and supply, the CBN has reduced arbitrage and speculative activities and eliminated the front-loading of foreign exchange demand. These policy measures have effectively narrowed the exchange rate disparities between NAFEM and BDC segments, which have largely led to the convergence of FX rates. Improved transparency in the market has restored market confidence, leading to increased capital inflows, which enable the CBN to clear existing backlogs. The settlement of legitimate backlogs of outstanding FX obligations by the bank has significantly improved Nigeria's credibility and ratings across the global financial market, helping to boost investor confidence and enhance liquidity in the foreign exchange market. While inflation remains a major concern, we are not relenting in ensuring that requisite measures are taken. Headline inflation increased from 32.15% in August to 32.7% in September 2024. The MPC further tightened the policy rate in its September meeting in anticipation of an uptick in inflation due to the upward adjustment of the petroleum pump price. On a positive note, there was a moderation in core inflation from 27.58% to 27.43% over the same period. We therefore expect the year to end with some moderation in inflation as our policy measures permit the real sector. Just to emphasize this once again, that the further tightening that took place from the last MPC meeting was in anticipation of rise in prices. And I'm pleased that that actually happened, because I believe if that hadn't happened, the results would be a bit different. The capital markets has responded positively to our policies, with the all-share index and market capitalization sustaining positive gains, reflecting renewed investor confidence. In general, Nigeria's international standing has improved, with rating agencies upgrading our sovereign credit ratings. I would encourage the honorable members to, who may not have, to possibly read the sovereign credit rating agencies' reports. They are not given to unnecessary emotion. They come, they look at things for what they are, they ask the right questions, and then they rate you accordingly. And happily, we have been going in a very positive direction. And the general feeling, not only from that sector, but from even those in international banks, for example, who monitor the progress of economies worldwide, the overall impression is that Nigeria is going through very difficult times, but is taking the appropriate measures to gradually get out of the difficulties. And therefore, the various tools and the direction we are going have been very positively received. And that, again, I must say, is what drives investor confidence and the willingness of investors to take risks with a market like Nigeria. In the banking sector, our policies have resulted in improved market oversight and operational efficiency. Key financial soundness indicators show a robust capital adequacy ratio and improved liquidity ratio, among others. In addition, the bank's recapitalization policy has prompted banks to strengthen their financial positions, a process expected to result in a more robust and resilient banking sector by March 2026. As I had said earlier, the exercise is expected to support the realization of the $1 trillion economy by 2030. Amidst the identified challenges, the bank's sustained reforms and strategic interventions have produced encouraging outcomes in diverse areas of our financial landscape and the broader economy. Overall, the banking industry remains sound, safe, and resilient, with improvements in liquidity and asset quality. Outlook for the economy. Honorable members, as we navigate towards the end of 2024, I am confident in our economic outlook. We anticipate continued positive growth, especially in the non-oil, oil, and industrial sectors. However, we remain cautious about potential global economic disruptions and domestic challenges. Inflation remains a pressing concern, but there are reasons for optimistic outlook. Inflation has shown gradual moderation, indicating that the bank's monetary policy measures are becoming effective. We anticipate steady moderation in inflationary pressures in the last quarter of 2024, supported by monetary policy measures and the federal government's recent initiatives, such as tax incentives and businesses in the economy. Naturally, one of the issues that tends to come with fighting inflation is the whole issue of the price for the real sector and for real sector growth. And that naturally is a concern, and it will be a concern of the honorable members of the House. I've spoken to the chairman of this committee, and he has expressed his concern about this. And to say that hopefully, as a couple of things. Number one, hopefully as the inflation rate moderates over time, obviously interest rates will come down. And also to say that the monster of inflation is such a major and devastating one that we have no choice really but to do everything possible to bring inflation down. And we believe that in doing that, you have a populace that will be better empowered to support the real sector through purchasing power. So those two things, I believe, have to be sequenced in one form or the other, and that's what we're trying to do. The Naira exchange rate has shown some recent improvement as indicated by relative stability. And if you look at the exchange rates between June and about now, it's give or take, there has been stability there. I want to also emphasize, because this is a subject that comes up many times, in terms of the actual rate itself, as opposed to the volatility in the rate. Now, frankly, as far as I can see, yes, the actual rate of the currency is determined by a whole host of measures, but one very important one are the fundamentals. And we need to ensure that our economy is working and working efficiently. And that exports take place, inflows of funds coming to the economy, the things that should ensure that our economy is growing in a robust manner, it is critical that they happen. There's no shortcut to that. It has to happen. And my sense is that as we do them, as those things are done, we will see the Naira get into a place that all of us are looking forward to it resting at. With respect to volatility, that is something that is more within the purview of the central bank. And that is why we're doing everything possible to ensure that volatility is reduced to a minimum and that businesses can plan, because that is a major issue when exchange rate is something today and tomorrow it goes up and down like a yo. So those are things that we at the central bank putting all our focus on to ensure that the Naira is as stable as possible. We must acknowledge key risks, including global economic uncertainties, security challenges, potential oil price volatility, decline in commodity prices, worsening geopolitical tensions, and political uncertainties as the US elections draw closer. And I don't really think I need to say much more on that. Our policy response to these challenges would entail a sustained tight monetary policy stance to tame inflation, improved management of foreign exchange markets, and enhanced collaboration with fiscal authorities to address legacy structural bottlenecks. Overall, we remain committed to navigating these challenges and leveraging positive trends to promote sustainable growth and macroeconomic stability for our dear country. Honorable members, as we conclude this briefing, I want to assure you that in spite of the challenges confronting our economy, there are clear reasons for optimism. The gradual moderation in inflation, foreign exchange stability, ongoing banking sector recapitalization, and other positive trends in key sectors indicate a path towards macroeconomic growth and stability. We remain committed to staying vigilant and adaptable amidst ongoing global and domestic uncertainties. The bank will closely monitor economic developments and adjust policies as needed to achieve low and stable inflation, exchange rate stability conducive for sustainable economic growth. As we navigate towards the end of 2024, we urge continued cooperation from all stakeholders, including government agencies, the private sector, and the entire citizenry. It is only through collective efforts and sustained commitment that we can overcome our challenges and steer the economy towards robust and inclusive growth. With your support and the Central Bank's steadfast dedication, I am confident that we can pave the way for a more prosperous Nigeria. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much.